What's going on with Keir Starmer? Why is he so unpopular after being elected just a few months ago? Saw this article where over 2 million people have signed a petition to demand a new general election. What's exactly going on? Answer: for context, the petition isn't remotely important. Over 2 million signatures isn't actually a lot when you consider that we had an election a few months ago. Labour won 9.7 million votes. The opposition but centrist Lib Dems got 3.5 million, the opposition Conservatives got 6.8 million, and the opposition, right-wing and populist Reform Party got 4.1 million votes. There's also a bunch of smaller parties, and the Greens got 1.9 million votes. Obviously not all the names on that petition are real or even from the UK, especially when Musk and other foreigners are boosting it. Even assuming they all are real, it's still significantly less than the Reform Party's votes alone, who we would assume are unhappy with Starmer as PM. Starmer ran on a very centrist platform and didn't promise a lot of massive changes. When he did get in, his government discovered that the previous Conservatives had not only left a weak economy, but also left a black hole in the budget of about £20 billion that they'd lied to their own Office of Budget Responsibility about. This has forced Starmer's government to make further cuts to things like benefits and the winter fuel allowance, upsetting a variety of people. Other things that are responsible for his poor approval rating include: our economy has been fairly stagnant for years. This is the result of a decade of conservative governance, and even if Starmer's policies work, things won't turn around that quickly. There's general anger over record-high immigration. This is also the fault of the Conservatives, and while Starmer has actually seen some success reducing it so far, plus some policies the Conservatives belatedly introduced, the numbers are still absolutely massive compared to a decade ago. A small but vocal minority on the left hates Starmer because they think he's too pro-Israel. Like most European leaders, his stance has been slowly hardening as the war drags on, and we've indicated we would in fact arrest Netanyahu. Labour voters feel betrayed that Labour is introducing any new cuts after railing against austerity. During the campaign, Starmer was very clear that there wouldn't be an instant spending surge, but it's still disappointing. Their main campaign item, planning reform, new housing and economic growth as a result, hasn't really started yet. His government had a fairly stupid and completely avoidable scandal where him and various other figures were accepting small gifts like football match tickets. He paid about £6,000 back. I think you missed a lot of stuff surrounding the budget. Winter fuel payment aside, which makes sense really, I don't think we should be giving money to rich pensioners, and they are raising pensions and encouraging uptake of pension credits to offset it for poorer pensioners. There haven't been many cuts. Quite the opposite. The budget has introduced record tax rises and massive public spend increases. It literally has been a spending splurge, way higher than most people were expecting. And the tax rises have mostly hit wealth, changes to inheritance tax and capital gains tax, and employers, increase employer national insurance contributions, as well as tax on pensions. Other than the winter fuel allowance cut, it's the tax rises that have angered a lot of people, farmers being the most prominent. Additionally, lots of business owners are angry or worried about the NI rises and the workers' rights reforms that are going to improve workers' rights but cost more to businesses. That, and a lot of people are angry about immigration. Add to all of this the fact that they got a massive majority with not that big of a vote share. A lot of people are angry. Ultimately, we had years of crappy government, and now the current one is having to make tough decisions to fix it, and some people don't like it. On the other hand, there are a lot of people happy to see a budget with the largest increase in spend on healthcare, outside of COVID, and education in nearly 15 years, and the biggest increase in investment in decades. And all that without have to raise taxes for the majority of people. The issue will be that all of this will take a while to have a positive effect on the economy, so most people are going to see an immediate improvement in quality life. Also to add, while they have been a little slow, they have already started large parts of their program. They've started the legislative processes for planning reform, increased workers' rights, renationalization of the railways, rent reforms, House of Lords reforms, etc. Stuff just takes a while, and they've only been in power for a few months.